the exit process is basically the very first thing we do is identify the universe of buyers. Once we've identified the universe of buyers, then we send out a one sheet. And the one sheet is very vague. It basically says, we have a wholesale parts manufacturing company in the Western United States doing approximately $10 to $20 million a year in revenue and $2 to $5 million in EBITDA. Is that something that you might be interested in? Then when they send back a letter or response or an email or a call, you'll get an IOI, which is an indication of interest in that. When you get your indication of interest, you gather those, look at the ones that you think might be good to talk to, and then you would send out an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement to them and say, okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the deal. And I want an NDA before I do that. They sign the NDA, and then you send them the CIM, the Confidential Information Memorandum, CIM. And that has kind of a high level information about the company in more detail. And then if they are interested, once they have the CIM, then they'll enter into an LOI with you. After they enter into the LOI, they'll typically begin due diligence. And part of the due diligence is management interviews. That's part of what they call CDD, commercial due diligence. They'll also have their legal department reach out for all the legal stuff. That's LDD. And then they'll have their accounting team reach out to do financial due diligence. That's FDD. So you go through FDD, CDD, LDD. And then once you do that, you'll get a draft of a definitive agreement for either it'll be a stock purchase agreement or an asset purchase agreement. Usually those deals are done as asset purchase agreements. Stock purchase agreements is a generic term that applies even if it's an LLC. It would technically be a membership interest purchase agreement, but I think MIPA doesn't sound as good as SPA. And then you'll enter into the definitive agreement. And then after that's done, you'll have escrow instructions, and the supporting documentation like employment agreements, non-competes, all that kind of stuff will be agreed upon, negotiated, executed. Then you'll set a closing date. You'll have the biggest negotiation of the entire deal, which will be over the working capital adjustment, which is how much cash of the cash stays in the company versus gets to go out. And then you'll set a closing date and close. And then there'll be post-closing integration after that. And there's generally anyone who's a sophisticated acquirer like a PE firm will actually have a plan that's the post-integration plan. So that's kind of how that works.